It seems that those companies have taken the easy way out and dumped sewage rather than processing it, which is what we've been paying them to do this whole time.
I'm from Cumbria, and the Lake District is experiencing a bit of a bad time of it at the moment. Like, Windermere has gone from being this pristine lake that is at the heart of a UNESCO World Heritage Site to something that is disgusting. You can't swim in it, the fish and the wildlife are dying, or because United Utilities is like overly polluting it.
Has that had any impact on your business at all, do you think?
Yeah, it has, on and off, through the summer months, particularly over the last kind of 4 or 5 years. Whenever we get dry periods of weather followed by heavy rainfall, then the runoff and the outfalls, we see mass fish deaths frequently, at least once a year, and then we have this weed growth problem, and it's a number of different aquatic plants which take advantage of that really nutrient-rich soup that gets in the water, and then they grow so thick that you can't move through them. So the residential houseboats can't move because it's tangled on their props, so people can't access water points, people can't paddle up and down, the rowing club can't train, so it impacts the whole community by the waterside, really.
Water companies want to raise water bills by up to 40%. Do you think it's fair that the public should be paying for that?
It feels pretty bad to me that water companies would expect a taxpayer, whatever, to fund their cleanup act when they've clearly not been running a legitimate business, or practice at least, in the way that they've been conducting themselves.
Any price increase, is just not welcome for anybody at the present time.
It seems a bit of a shocking shift of the responsibility for that investment in infrastructure, really. That should have been managed and taking place over the last decade or 20 years, with new road systems, with new houses being built. The sewage network should have been increasing in capacity at the same rate to keep pace with all of that, and it seems that those companies have taken the easy way out and dumped sewage rather than processing it, which is what we've been paying them to do this whole time. So yeah, it doesn't sit well with me at all. I feel like if those services are going to be in the hands of private companies, then they need to be mandated to deliver on those.
We're in a cost of living crisis with bills potentially raising up to 40%. Do you think people are going to be able to cope with that?
I just read this morning that 1 in each 7 people in the UK is suffering from hunger. So if you think that ratio and extrapolate that to the whole population, I don't think it's fair. And the government does no regulation most of things, rent, grocery bills, and gas. There's so many other companies that are making huge profits, and there's no regulation on that. So I don't think it's fair at all.
It's definitely not affordable, and we're definitely not the ones that should be paying the bill. It should be them that should be paying for their own mistakes.
I guess we can all take certain steps to reduce the water that we use, but ultimately it's not the people who are filling their swimming pools and watering their lush gardens who are going to be on the difficult end of that. It's going to be those normal households who are already using the bare minimum. I think that lovely lady in Parliament referred to it as a cost of greed crisis rather than a cost of living crisis, and I'm inclined to agree with her that it's nice to see that some of the people at the top of the water companies have already refused to take dividends this year. But yeah, a lot more accountability from those companies would be great.
What's fair? It's a very hard question. Would not be fair if that charge was levied immediately on poor households, and I think that's going to be looked at carefully. If it's phased in over 2 or 3 years, then yes, if it corrects infrastructure once and for all, because everyone knows its leaks are everywhere and it's totally appalling.